Hey everyone, it's me, Sarah, your Christian forgiveness coach, and you are listening to Forgive Everyone for Everything Every Day Right Away, episode number 43, Forgiveness and Money. So, we all have a story when it comes to money, what we were taught about money, how to earn money, how to use money, how not to use money. And money has long been a means to arguments, disagreements, and unforgiveness among the people, right? So I know a lot of you grew up in a church atmosphere probably and have strong feelings around money, like what scripture says about money and all of it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about it. The first thing I want to offer is that money is just money, it's neutral. It's just money. It's literally just a piece of paper or a piece of metal, or I don't even have any paper. It's just like for me, I think of my money, it's literally like a digital number on a screen that I look at. So it doesn't even mean anything, right? Until we start thinking about it. So we really are the ones that decide what money means. And that's the truth. Like we get to decide, right? Not our pastor, not our parents, not our friends or our relatives, us. So I don't know about you, but until the last couple years, I never really gave my relationship with money much conscious thought. And it's kind of interesting to think about it this way as a relationship. But if you listen to me, my podcast, or watch any of my videos, then you probably already know that I describe relationships as our thoughts about someone, or in this case, something. So our relationship with money are our thoughts about it. Okay. So, have you ever even thought about this? Like, what are your thoughts about money? What are your beliefs about money? Do you love it? Do you feel guilty for loving it? Is it abundant? Is it scarce? Is it easy to come by or hard to come by? Is it important to you? Not important to you? Do you tell yourself you have enough of it or that you never have enough of it? What about oh, money takes hard work. Time is money, or you have to have money to make money. Maybe it's that you think money is fun, or you think money creates problems. And then there are our thoughts about money and other people. Some of us might think we love to share our money. Other of us might not want to share our money. It's ours. We earned it. We don't want to give it away. Some of us have no problem loaning others money. Some of us do not do that. So now I'm not saying any of these beliefs or thoughts around money are right or wrong. They're not. They're just something we maybe want to start noticing. Like, what are our thoughts about money? And where did those thoughts come from? Do I even like my thoughts about money? Are my thoughts about money serving me? Are they serving the world? And if I don't like my current amount of money that I have, could it possibly be because of my thoughts about it? And that's where I want to tell you that yes, the way that we think about money determines how much money we have. Okay. So here's just a little bit of my example. I was raised to never spend more than I had or made. So it was instilled, ingrained in me as a young person, like you do not ever go into credit card debt. The only thing you ever took out a loan for was a home, maybe a car. And I never really questioned this. And actually, it's worked out pretty good for me because I've never been in debt other than a home or a car loan. And I don't use my credit card unless I already have the cash in the bank to cover it. So I make the full monthly payment every time it's due. Um, and then somewhere along the way, and I don't even remember where I heard this, I just liked it. I just decided I liked this advice. Was I heard somebody say you should always have 6 months worth of living expenses in the bank in the event of an emergency. You know, you get injured, you lose your job, something like that. So, interestingly enough, I decided, wow, that's a good idea. And so that's exactly what I have. But here's what's fascinating. I never had more than that. Like whatever I had was 6 months worth. And then if I had more than that, it got spent. So I've really started evaluating my current amount of money and learning how I got there. So once I did this work, it was pretty obvious, right? I created this particular amount for myself and this particular way of handling money by the way I was thinking about it, by my thoughts about it, from what I was taught and the beliefs I chose to adopt, even though, like, at the time they were unconscious. And then I learned this, that I could change the way I thought about money. In fact, I would need to change the way I thought about money if I wanted to create a different result, if I wanted to have more or less of it or whatever. So I learned that if I did want more money, then I would have to change my thoughts of, well, I have enough. 6 months worth is all I need. I don't need any more. Those were things that I believed. So those were thoughts that got me to where I am, but also kept me where I am. So there was like no room for growth there. So as I mentioned before, a lot of us have possibly some guilt around having money. Like we hear this saying, like, money is the root of all evil, as if this paper or digital number on a screen is the reason for the evil. And I want to offer, like, that is never the case. Someone with already evil intentions, yes, they're probably going to do evil things with their money and evil things to get money. But those of us that don't have that, like, we have good intentions, then I think the more money we have, the more good we're going to do in the world with that money. And I believe that it actually really grows us as humans to learn what it takes to have more money, to earn more money. It grows us and it stretches us to become more of who we already are. Because let's admit it, like, I'm going to admit it, money's fun. Like, we can do more with money. We can buy learning opportunities. We can speed things up. We can solve some problems. We can buy some time with money. One way I buy time with my money is by paying somebody else to mow my lawn, for example. So just let your imagination kind of go with all of the good that you can do with money. And I recommend to stop feeling guilty about it immediately. So some of you, right? Some of us were taught that wanting and pursuing more money makes us greedy. But again, I want to offer that while that may be true for some people with those intentions, you get to decide what it means for you. If pursuing more money makes you treat others poorly or you hurt people along the way, well, yeah, that's a sign that maybe your intentions are off, right? But notice if you feel like you have to oh, this is also something super fascinating, like scarcity around money. Like we feel like we have to get to the money before someone else does, as if there's some sort of limited amount of it, as if the more somebody else has, the less we will have. And that's never true. If somebody at work gets a raise and earns more than you, it doesn't mean that you will earn less. It doesn't mean that you can't get a raise too. So I just thought that was important to kind of point out. But what if one of the ways you started thinking about money and pursuing money was by creating value, right? So value for whoever you're working for, value for your customers. A lot of us were taught that hard work and time was what created money. But I want to kind of throw that idea out the window and say that creating money, or money, is created by the value that we have to offer. So when we create something of value that benefits other people, then money is abundant. When we approach earning money from that place of like, well, I did this and I spent time doing this and I earned that and I want to get paid for this time I spent, we aren't creating value. We're actually coming from a place of scarcity, and that gets us into trouble with one another, doesn't it? I'm sure you can think of some examples of for yourself where that's kind of gotten you in some trouble. So think about your own personal kind of arguments around money with your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your kids, everything. So interesting to think about. Um, and I think it's also interesting to notice like how much actual money we have versus like how much stuff we have that we spent our money on. So it's interesting to wonder, do we value the money itself or do we value what the money can buy or do for us or other people? So that's interesting, right? So one super fascinating question about money is, are you someone who loves money or someone who loves what money can buy? So, um, I hope that this episode really just has gotten your brain thinking about money and how you think about it and how those thoughts really have created the results around money in your life and your personal relationships. And I hope that if your relationships are hurting because of money issues, that this has given you the opportunity to evaluate your thoughts about money and remember that you always get to decide. Okay. So, to kind of wrap up, I have a few hints and tips. Take them or leave them. Um, First one being become aware and clean up your thoughts about money. Stop feeling guilty about wanting or having money. Decide how you want to feel about money and literally just have your own back on that and let others have their own opinions. Remember, like other people get to think whatever they want. Um, when it comes to sharing money, again, decide how you want to handle that. So me personally, like I've decided I just don't loan people money. I don't want to loan somebody money and then expect to be paid back and then not get paid back. That's just annoying to me. So I would rather just give someone money. And if I decide I can do that and want to do that, if they insist on paying me back in the future, fine, but I don't expect it if I give it. And that brings me to my last suggestion. Be open to receiving money. I used to have a hard time with this myself. If someone wanted to share their money with me, it would make me uncomfortable. I don't know if it was just like a pride thing or I felt just guilty or weird about it, but I've learned to be more open to that. If someone wants to share their abundance with me, I now accept it with gratitude always. Um, so what does this have to do with forgiveness? Well, I think if there's anyone in your past or your current life, um, or even you yourself that you need to forgive around the topic of money, then I recommend doing that because again, evaluate like how it's affecting your life. So just take some time to reflect upon that. All right. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.